everybody. Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle. Lord Tremendous of the Warriors of Chaos versus Richard the Black of the Vampire Counts. No, he didn't name himself that. I did. But anyway, this is actually a really, really good battle. It's a ton of fun. And it's got a great ending, too. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be entertained because I loved this game. It was really fun.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list. This is a 2,500 point list, so it is not my Rock Wars GT list. This list is actually different. This is the first time I've tried this list out since I made it, so it's got a handful of changes. So sit down. I hope you're ready for this. I have my Demon Prince still, Lord Tremendous. He's got the Mark of Tzeentch. He's a level 2 wizard. He's got Chaos Armor with wings, Charm Shield, Dragonbane Gem, Other Trickster Shard, Soul Feeder, Flaming Breast, Scaled Skin, and the Laura Metal. My hero choices are Lady Elizabeth, the Exalted Hero. She's got the Mark Tzeentch, Halberd, Castede, BSB, Helm of Many Eyes, Dawnstone, and Poisonous Slime. She has not changed at all. I have a Chaos Sorcerer, Catastrophe, who's a level 2 wizard with the Mark of Tzeentch, Disc of Tzeentch, Enchanted Shield, Dispel Scroll, and the Lore of Tzeentch. And my newest Exalted Hero, Hatemonger. He's got the Mark of Khorne, he's got a shield, he's got the Sword of Swift Slaying, because I like Always Strikes First, a Dragon Helm, and an Opal Amulet. I gave him the Dragon Helm so he could have a 2-up armor save and a 2-up ward against any kind of flaming attacks, not that I run into him all that often. And I gave him the Opal Amulet just because I had some points left over and I wanted to give him a little something more than, just an armor save. But I put him into the list because I got a model from a really cool guy. I will explain it in a couple of slides. But yeah, very cool. You'll see. My core choices have changed slightly, and not so much what they are, but how they're kitted out. I have 5 Chaos Warhounds still, but now they have scaly skin. And of course, they're my corn dogs. And I've got a unit of 17 Chaos Warriors instead of 18, which is usual, because now that's where Hatemonger goes. They are still the Reavers of Uthwando, because that's an awesome name. They are the Mark of Khorne, full command, and with halberds and have the Banner of Rage. And they have a unit of 17 Forsaken, Khorne's Forgotten, with the Mark of Khorne, because you can never have too many Forsaken. I'm sorry, you just can't. My special choice still consists of 5 Chaos Knights, Elizabeth's Honor Guard with the Mark of Tzeentch and Sorcerful Weapons, Band of Musician, and the Standard Discipline. And in order to make this list work, I had to remove Trifection the Chimera. I know, everyone's pissed at me about that, or everyone will be anyway. I get it, but in order to make this all work, I had to drop them. But instead, I took a Gorby's Chariot, Rock and Roll with the Mark of Khorne, because it looks really good on paper, and I like the idea of it. And it was either take the Gorby's Chariot or a unit of what's it called, Dragon Ogres, and well, let's just face it, the Gorby's Chariot's a better choice. So I have him. And then, of course, my rare choice, the one, the only, the unit that will never be removed from my Warriors of Chaos armies, Snuffleupagus, my Mutalith Vortex. Gotta love the beast! My opponent's list is as follows. That's right, I actually got a copy of his list. He has a Vampire Lord, Von Millhouse, who's a level 4 wizard with a Dragon Helm, Book of Asher, Seed of Rebirth, Master of the Black Arts, Dark Acolyte, and Allure of the Vampires. Shocking. His hero choices are Manfred the Acolyte. That's right, he's got a special character, and no, I don't remember what the hell he does, but he's a special character. I'm sure he does all sorts of cool stuff. Then he's got a Necromancer, Ludwig the Foul, who's a level 1 wizard with the Rod of Flaming Death and Allure of Vampires. And then he's got another vampire, Luther the Slayer, who's a level 1 wizard, who's a Sword of Might, Red Fury, and Allure of the Vampire. And he's got a Tomb Banshee, Helga the Shrill, because, well, Tomb Banshee, why wouldn't you take one? His core choices consist of 18 Skeleton Warriors, the Death Guard, with full command, hand weapon, shield, and light armor. And a huge nasty unit of 80 Skeleton Warriors, Death Legion, with full command, spears, shields, light armor, and the Banner of Eternal Flame. Because the only way to make that unit more scary is to set it on fire. And then last but not least, he's got a unit of 20 zombies, the Nightmare Legion, with Banner Musician. His special choices consist of 4 Spirit Hosts, a host of Whisperers, I apologize, and a Corpse Cart, And of course, his rare choices are a Mortis engine and a Terrorgeist named Shriek. Right here is what I was talking about. This is Hate Monger. In a previous battle report, Wade Weigel, I hope I'm saying your name right, buddy. If not, crucify me, I apologize. Uh, he was like, dude, you hate elves so much. Why don't you have that Games Day model? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it's a chaos guy, and he's choking out an elf. It's awesome. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why don't I have this one? So I jump on eBay and I can't find it because I didn't think to type in Games Day. I typed in like Chaos Warrior choking elf. Stupid. So I couldn't find it. So I message him and I'm like, dude, I can't find it. What is it called? And he's like, don't worry about it. I bought it for you. I'm gonna paint it up and I'll send it to you because one of Wade's buddies is actually in my gaming group. So that's why I've never met Wade, but it was just cool that he would even think to do something like this. So he gets the model, he assembles it, he paints it like a champion and sends it to me through our mutual friend. And look at this masterpiece. Look at this beautiful, beautiful masterpiece. This is a Khorne chaos god choking the life out of this bastard flimsy wood elf. Oh my god, I fell in love with this model so hard my wife got jealous. Oh my gosh. So thank you, Wade. Thank you so, so much for this. I love this model, and I had to put him in the list as an Exalted Hero. Couldn't fit him in as a Chaos Lord, although I really tried. But yeah, as a Exalted Hero of Khorne, I think he's just breathtaking. And I was so excited to play him in this game. I really, really was. But yeah, I mean, just it's an amazing, amazing model. Very happy. He was in the game as a unit champion on my 2200 point list because it's too late to change that list. But in my 2500 point list, this guy will be in there because he's just amazing. And as you can see, as the pictures go by, he actually got, not only did he get a wood elf, choked out wood elf on there, but he was able to get the high elf and the dark elf shields and heads on there. So all my elf hatred is sated. He got every flavor of elf on there. This guy walks on water as far as I'm concerned. Amazing paint job, amazing model. Thank you, Wade. I owe you one, buddy. I really do. Here are my spells, which are 2 from Metal and 2 from Tzeentch, because I'm trying 2 level 2s now, because I think it could work. Here's deployment. As you can see, I got really excited, so I forgot to take a picture of actual deployment. But real quick, obvious rundown now. The plan was the Beast, the Gore Beast, and the Forsaken Beasts. We're going to charge, eventually, the huge unit of skeleton warriors. The idea behind that was just try to kill them off as quick as I could. My hope was they would end up in the forest a little bit. With the Gore Beast, I was going to take the chance and hope I didn't roll a 1 for dangerous terrain. I was going to charge them through the forest. But my hope was if the skeletons went into the forest, they'd lose their ranks. I didn't know if my opponent would fall for it or not. He's not stupid at all. But, people make mistakes. Meanwhile, my Demon Prince, his job was to kill off the Terrorgeist and the Mortis Engine. And if he lost his life in the process, so be it. My Knights were going to go after either the Terrorgeist if the Demon Prince failed, or the Spirit Hosts. Also, my Exalted Hero my Chaos Sorcerer on a disc was going to try to whittle away at the Spirit Host as well with his magic. The Dogs were really just going to run interference. I ended up moving them out of the way later. And the Khorne Warriors were going to go after either the unit of zombies in the middle there, or just crash into anything convenient. They were my backup. They were my reserves. Here's my opponent's right flank, which consists of some Spirit Host and a Terrorgeist. Here's his center, which from left to right are a unit of skeletons. With the model then the back left there, the model on the left is his Vampire Lord, his general, and the model in that same unit on the right is Manfred. In front of them is a unit of 20 zombies. In the middle there is a Mortis Engine. Behind and to our right of the Mortis Engine is the Corpse Cart. And in front of the Corpse Cart is the huge, nasty, flaming unit of skeletons with spears, with a Vampire, a Necromancer, and a Banshee attached. Here's my right flank, which consists of my Beast, my Gore Beast, and my Forsaken Beasts. And my center, which consists of the Khorne Warriors, the Dogs, our Hate Monger obviously is in with Khorne Warriors, and my Knights with Lady Elizabeth. Of course, there's Lord Tremendous kind of with his head chopped off because, I don't know, foreshadowing. And here's my left flank, which consists of Cast Ashby now on a disc. So, as you've already seen, here's top of one after movement, and I moved up really, really far. The hope was the Demon Prince could shoot off Infernal Gateway on the Terrorgeist, and if not, kill him off, make it so that he's only got a couple of wounds left so that his Scream isn't as powerful. If the Spirit Hosts were foolish enough to charge the Demon Prince, so be it. If not, hopefully my Knights or my Magic could deal with him in round two. Other than that, everything moved up as quick as it could, just because I knew I had to get a hold of him and try to kill off his characters as quick as I could so he couldn't resurrect anything. During my magic phase, the beast is able to get his spell off onto skeleton warriors, and I rolled a number 4 spell. As you can see, unfortunately, I rolled a lot of 4s. I raise and lower his toughness by 1, so nothing changes, and 3 of his skeletons die. But when you're talking about a unit of 83 models, 3 models, it's a start, but it's far from anything, substantial. Nothing else happens. It could have been cool, but hey, you know what? It's got to start somewhere. First blood goes to me. Then I'm able to irresistible force through Infernal Gateway on his Terrorgeist, and I don't kill it. I only end up doing 5 wounds. I needed 1 more. Oh no. So yeah, it's got 5 wounds on it, and as I'm sure anybody who's ever played or played against vampires know, with the amount of magic he has, that damn Terrorgeist is going to be fully healed by the end of his next magic phase. So poop. So I roll to see what the miscast is, and wouldn't you know it, I roll a 3 on the miscast chart. Ugh. And yeah, Lord Tremendous, I roll another 3, and he dies. He goes into the warp, and oh, did that suck? But you know what? This is the reason. This is the exact reason that I took magic levels off of him, because I hate miscast charts. But at the same time, it's a worthy cause. I got Hate Monger. I got him in the list. He's got a good kit. And you know what? You got to pay your dues. You do. You do. There's no other way about it. Sometimes the dice are going to roll for you. Sometimes they're going to roll for your opponent. In this situation, I'm paying my dues. It's a new list. I got to cut my teeth. I got to bleed a little. So Lord Tremendous decided to sit this game out, going into the warp, top of 1 without doing anything. And he dies, and it's sad. So, after drying my eyes, we go to bottom of 1 after movement, and there's really no movement at all. His Spirit Host shift a little bit. His Terrorgeist, I think, shifts an inch. Other than that, nothing moves. Nothing at all. The vampires are not quick. During his magic phase, he gets a bunch of spells off, Raise Dead, Invocation, and stuff like that to raise just a buttload of zombies. I think there's 21 there. So, what can you do? I mean, it was well played by my opponent. I can't fault him for it or anything like that. And I hate the fact that this whole big brick of zombies is worth 0 points. I have to go through them now, and all I can think is, where's Rick Grimes when you need him, Or Shane. Oh, wait, he's probably in the unit. Sad. Also, during his magic phase, he gets, I think he uses the Flaming Rod in my Forsaken and pops 2 of them, which is fine. I'm used to 15 anyway, so now I'm just comfortable with the unit. And then after all that is said and done, there's really nothing else going on. We go to top of 2 after movement. And I'm not much for sitting around, so my Knights go slamming into the zombies. My hope here, I angled them in such a way that they would, I mean, obviously everyone's a base to base, but I was hoping that they would overrun enough to hit the Terrorgeist, and maybe it wouldn't be enough to, excuse me, to withstand its scream. I was hoping that he would roll a little low, but I was hoping I could vape the zombies, overrun into the Terrorgeist, and kill it before it could really do any more damage. That was the hope anyway, and that's why I charged him in. Other than that, the Beast runs up to the flank to put some pressure on the Skeleton Warriors. The Gore Beast and the Forsaken, they just kind of line up getting ready to charge. I was hoping he would come forward a little bit. The Corn Warriors get up on the hill so that if I do charge something, I get the +1 for high ground, and the dogs, they just get the heck out of the way. Meanwhile, the guy in the disc runs over because I was hoping to try to do some damage to the Terrorgeist. That was the hope. Here's a better picture of my Knights and Lady Lizette slamming into the zombies. And yeah, this one's for you, Rick. This one's for you. And then during the magic phase, the beast is able to get a spell off on the skeletons once again. I kill 4 skeletons, and I make that unit stupid, which is cool because, yeah, he's got leadership 10, and it's a great bubble. But the hope here is that, he rolls an 11 or 12 once or twice, and they become stupid, and they just kind of frolic D6 inches. That'd be cool. He does have a Banshee, a Necromancer, and a Vampire in there, so, it wouldn't be bad. It'd be kind of nice. Then over here, I'm able to get Final Transmutation off on this unit, and I know I probably should have wasted my dice on my spell on the Terrorgeist, but it was Golden Hounds. And since Terrorgeist doesn't have any armor, that's really not going to help at all. So instead, I decided to go with Final Transmutation on the zombies with the idea that maybe I could pop either Manfred or his Vampire Lord. I was hoping anyway, and I didn't get either of them. It was a shame. I actually rolled a 5 for Manfred, but since he's multiple wounds, it doesn't work on him. But I did end up killing, 7 zombies and making a bubble of stupidity, which actually doesn't end up affecting anybody. But, it could have been better. It could have been better, but I'll take what I can get. Beggars can't be choosers. Unfortunately, I end up miscasting 3 again. 2 miscasts in as many turns, and 3s are rolled for both of them. I don't know where the mathematicians are in my viewers, but if you are one, please do the math on this, because I'm telling you, there should be a black hole opening up in a major city any day with the way I'm breaking math. So yes, I miscast 3 on another spell that did pretty much nothing. Luckily, thank goodness, I am able to roll a 4 or a 5, and he does not go into the warp. He actually survives. Catastrophe doesn't just die like my Demon Prince does. He does take a wound, and the D6 dice I lose from my power dice pool is completely evaporates it. So my magic phase is over, which stinks, but it is what it is. And yeah, so at least he survived. Then over here in combat, I'm able to kill, I think, like 10 of the zombies, 10 or 11, I can't remember exactly, with charge. No, I think it was 10. And with charge, 2 banners, to, 1 wound. I'm like, hey, I'm doing well. And then he kills a knight. The zombies are able to drag him off his horse and rip his throat out, which sucks. I can't even begin to tell you. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see what the combat res is. Boom. Right there. 1 zombie survives, so I do not get to overrun. I can't hit his Terrorgeist, and it's free to run around and scream at whatever it feels like screaming at. Can you friggin' believe it? So yeah, 1 zombie, because 1 knight couldn't zip up his armor. Oh, it sucks. Really sucks. So, after throwing a minor hissy fit, maybe a semi-minor hissy fit, we go into bottom of 2 after movement. And again, there's not a ton. The spirit hosts run up around the side of the knights a little bit there to go and harass the dogs, which was fine. I was going to feed them the dogs. The Terrorgeist runs over to kill the guy on the disc with screaming, and we both know how that's going to go. The skeleton warriors in the back there, I don't know why, but they move up on top of the hill for XYZ reason. Maybe because they thought the knights would go after them. I don't care. And the other big brick of skeletons, they just kind of shift a little bit. He was trying to make it so that the beast wasn't in his flank, but he still is. I don't know. I mean, I was fine with it because he actually gets slightly closer to Forsaken, making the charge easier. And everything else pretty much just kind of sits where it's at. His magic phase doesn't do anything, so we go into shooting, and his Terrorgeist is able to scream Catastrophe's head off. It just explodes. Absolutely no hesitation. And that's my fault. I should never have brought him that close. It was really, really stupid to do that, and I paid the price that I should have paid. If you're going to play like an idiot, you're going to die like an idiot. And I'm an idiot, so it worked out. Over here in combat, lo and behold, my knights are able to kill 1 zombie. Yay, 1 zombie. And then they turn and face the Terrorgeist, because that thing's got to die now. There's no way I can leave it alive. So charging it in the flank like that, I had to sacrifice my caster. It was not the plan, but the caster's dead, and so my knights have turned to face it, because I can make that charge relatively easily and kill off the Terrorgeist before I can kill anything else of mine. So we go to top of 3 after movement, and that's exactly what happens. I'm like, well, time to go for it. Screw this, my magic is gone. So the knights charge into the flank of the Terrorgeist, which is awesome. The, what's it called? The Corn Warriors attempt to charge the zombies with his Vampire Lord and Manfred in there and fail, and they end up like 5-6 inches on top of the hill. The Forsaken, the Gorby's Chariot, and the Beast all charged huge brick of Skeleton Warriors, which I'm fine with. The fact that they all made it is glorious. So that's looking good. And then the dogs shift over slightly, maybe like an inch, just to kind of look at the Spirit Host, just like, hey, how you doing? Here's a better picture of the Beast, the Gore Beast, and a Forsaken Beast slamming into the just tidal wave of Skeleton Warriors, which are terrifying. And I have forgotten to mention this, his magic phases have allowed that unit to pretty much be at full strength. So all the damage that the Beast did was healed. And here's a better picture of the Knights with Lady Elizabeth slamming into the Terrorgeist, and F this thing, it's gotta die. And there's a better picture of the Corn Warriors going, ugh, but we're a little tired. We will not charge. And they just kind of come up on top of the hill and just go, woo, we've got a great view from here. During the magic phase, the Beast is able to get off that bouncing spell. I think it's a 3 or something like that on the Skeleton Warriors. Oh, I'm sorry, on the zombies with the 2 characters in it. I end up killing like 1 or 2 of the skeletons on the hill. I think I kill 1 of the zombies. And while the Mortis Engine does have to take 4 toughness checks, he makes every single one. So really, I just killed a handful of undead things. It wasn't overly great. But hey, you know what? I'll take it. It's the only spell I got left. Over here in combat, the Knights, mainly Lady Elizabeth, just devastate this stupid Terrorgeist and kill it, which is good, because that thing has been the bane of my entire Magic phase. It's his fault. He forced Lord Tremendous to blow himself up, and then he screamed at Catastrophe until his head exploded. So the Terrorgeist more than made up for his points. My opponent got every single point that he could possibly hope for from that dang thing, so I had to kill it. I had to kill the Terrorgeist and get a fraction of the points I've already given up from it, so at least it's not a threat anymore. After that, my knights turn to our right to get back into this fight. Over here in combat, lo and behold, my Forsaken and everything like that are able to do quite well. They end up getting regen. I think I kill like 20 of these guys or something like that. The combat res is amazing. I think like 30 of the skeletons die. I'm able to kill his Necromancer. I'm able to put no, I'm not able to wound his vampire, and of course the Banshee. I have no magical attacks, so there's nothing I can do there. But everything else does pretty well against the skeletons. I do lose, what is it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of my Forsaken, which hurts, especially considering I got regen. And I think the Beast took a wound as well, so ugh. But the Gore Beast didn't, so that's awesome. And I win this combat by a lot. A bunch of skeletons die, and we will continue this tar pit fight later. So we go to bottom of 3 after movement, and you're looking at it. For the most part, not a whole lot. His Spirit Host charge into my dogs, and that's fine. The dogs are going to die. The skeletons on the hill move up slightly to give the Knights and Lady Elizabeth something to charge, which I honestly wasn't sure about why he did that. I thought about going after the skeletons. I thought about going after the flank of the zombies because his Vampire Lord and Manfred leave the unit of zombies and go into the middle there where like that little gap is in front of the Mortis Engine. And I saw this, and I think his idea was, well, now the Corn Warriors are going to charge into the zombies, my characters will be fine, and life is good. Screw that. Hate Monger is in there. He's charging out of the unit and going after his Vampire Lord, because I was pretty sure a casty Vampire Lord wasn't going to be all that great in combat, especially considering he didn't charge those guys into the flank of the Forsaken. So I was feeling like this was my chance. I felt like this was my opponent's, huge mistake, and I could capitalize on that. Meanwhile, the Mortis Engine moves up slightly. The Corpse Cart moves up just to kind of keep up so that when an augment goes off, the skeletons can always strike first, which is devastating. And that's pretty much it. Here's a better picture of his Spirit Host slamming into my dogs, and, well, we all know how that's going to go. During his magic phase, or maybe it's his movement phase, something, the Mortis Engine does that pulse thing. Doesn't hurt the Forsaken, doesn't hurt the Beast, but it does 3 wounds to my Gorby's Chariot, which sucks. Then over here in the magic phase, I think it's Curse of Years, kills 3 of my Corn Warriors. I did what I could to try to dispel it, but it's a level 4 going up against nothing. So I was just trying. I was really, really trying. Over here in combat, the Spirit Host, lo and behold, are able to kill a bunch of Warhounds, and they kill them just It's horrible. It's the worst parts of the Bible. And then over here in combat, it's quite devastating, actually. My Forsaken ended up getting armor piercing, which is more or less useless. Oh, I'm sorry, it's always strike first, but he got an augment spell off last turn, so they have always strike first as well. So at least they didn't get to reroll their attacks against my Forsaken, but as you can see with all the attacks he got to throw at them, they did plenty of damage anyway. They kill all but two. On the positive note is with the Beast, the Gore Beast, the Forsaken getting their attacks, I'm able to put a wound on the Vampire, and I'm able to just destroy a big chunk of this unit. There's still 35 of these guys left, but they're at less than half now, so that's a good start. I'm starting to see more movement trade than I am skeletons, so that's a good thing. A bunch of them crumble, and we move on to top of 4 after movement, and there's a little bit. During his magic phase, he did get another unit of zombies up because Rick Grimes, and he puts them in the way so that my knights have to charge them. They can't get a hold of skeletons or anything like that. So I oblige him, and I do. Hate Monger charges out of the unit and slams into his Vampire Lord, which I was very excited about, because the hope was he hits that Vampire Lord, kills him, overruns, because he has to, into the Mortis Engine, and if the Mortis Engine could just not kill him, I can probably pop the Mortis Engine, blowing up a bunch of his stuff, as well as my own. I'll probably lose Hate Monger that way, but I was fine with that. And that's why the Corn Warriors stayed where they were. I didn't want the Spirit Host charging them, but at the same time, I wanted to get into the zombies, so that if the Spirit Host did decide to go into my Corn Warriors, I could use the damage they do to the zombies to basically pop the Spirit Host. Other than that, everything I have is dead or in combat. There's been a picture of the Knights and Lady Elizabeth slamming into another just unit of zombies that are worth 0 points. And here's a better picture of Hate Monger slamming into a Vampire Lord, because if I can kill him, I can really take the winds out of his sails. You know what I mean? My magic phase doesn't exist, it doesn't do anything, and I don't shoot, so we go into combat, and I got him! Hate Monger was easily able to do, well, actually, he did 1 wound to Hate Monger, or to his Vampire Lord, and his Vampire Lord actually did a wound to Hate Monger, so I did a wound and I charged, he did a wound, so I won by 1, but I also had high ground, so I won by 2. He rolls and he pops, he destroys himself. So yeah, the vampires have to start crumbling, which is awesome. And I end up in a Mortis Engine, so yay! Over here in combat, the Forsaken get always strikes first once again. The skeletons, since they don't have as many attacks now, go just have a ball. His vampire actually moves over, since he was no longer in combat, to get into combat with the Gore Beast and flubs his attacks. The Gore Beast does take 1 more wound, but that's it. The Gore Beast charioteer guys, they direct all their attacks into the vampire and kill him. I lose 1 more Forsaken, but I get his attacks, and so I'm able to kill some more skeletons. And of course, the Beast just has a field day with the rest of the skeletons, causing a whole bunch of damage to them. I win this combat again, a bunch more crumble, but they're not gone yet. And then over here, we do a whole bunch of damage. I lose another knight to zombies. And there's 2 left when all is said and done. So I don't get to overrun. I don't get to do anything with my knights. They have to sit there, finish these guys off, and then hopefully charge next turn. So we go to bottom of 4 after movement, and there's been very little. For the most part, after the crumble checks and everything like that, the 2 zombies that were in combat with the knights, they go away, because he did the crumble checks at the end of the combat phase, and then he did the crumble checks at the beginning of his turn. He did the crumble checks at the end of the combat phase, and the remaining 2 zombies died. But since they died after combat was over, at the end of the phase, my knights have to just stand there. Basically, the zombies just fall apart. The Spirit Host lose 2 of their bodies. A handful of zombies die in the middle unit there. Manfred's fine. He rolled real well. Just a handful of the skeletons died. The Mortis Engine took a couple of wounds. The Corpse Cart took like nothing. I think he rolled like a 3 for the Corpse Cart. It was ridiculous. But yeah, his army is starting to fall apart. But unfortunately, since he still has Manfred, he still has Laura Vampire's caster, so he's not taking any more crumble checks. Nothing else really happens. You can kind of see, here's a better picture right here of after the Mortis Engine pulsed. It got a little ugly. Hate Monger's dead. My last Forsaken dies. And so yeah, that sucks. And one of my knights died, which just figures. But what could you do? So yeah, that he rolled like a 13-inch range too, or something insane, 18 inches, something insane. It was really bad. So kind of sucks, but what can you do? It's a cool little toy. It's a cool little toy. During his magic phase, he is able to raise a huge big unit of zombies right in front of my Corn Warriors, and what can you do, right? And then during his shooting phase, the Banshee hits that high C and explodes my Gorby's chariot because life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. So that sucks. Now that unit's I don't know if I'm going to be able to destroy it or not. We go into combat, and I'm able to kill all but like what do we got here? 2, 4, 6. I think there's 8 guys left, or there's 7 skeletons and a banshee left. Problem is, and I don't realize this until the next combat phase, my beast does not have magical attacks, and he's only in base-to-base contact with the banshee now. So what am I going to do? He's winning. I have a flank to his banner, and he's got a musician. So what am I going to do? I'm going to lose. And so my only hope now is to hold him there long enough for maybe the knights to come over, maybe the Corn Warriors. I had no idea. So with that all said and done, we go into top of 5 after movement, and I'm able to restrain the Corn Warriors from charging the zombies. The knights charge the rear of the zombie unit that he popped because they don't have to overrun. And everything else that I have is deader in combat. So what can you do? I do angle my Corn Warriors in such a way, though, that they can charge either the flank of the zombie horde and get those points and stuff like that. But I was grabbing at straws at this point. What I was really hoping to do was Hail Mary charge Manfred, slam into him, kill him, and either hit the Mortis Engine or hit the Skeleton Warriors and save the beast. Either way, that was the hope. And there's a better picture of my knights and Lady Lizette slamming into the zombies, and that should go well. I don't have magic phase that's worth anything, and we don't shoot, so we go into combat, and the knights are finally able to completely blast a unit of zombies. Again, they've killed 3 units of zombies that were worth exactly 0 points, but hey, logic. So in the end, after that, they just reform to face the zombies and stuff like that. Over here in combat, this is where I realize, oh no, my beast can't hurt the Banshee. But that's okay because I lose by 1 and I break and get run down. Because I lost by 1. That's the only reason I break, because I lost by 1. The beast breaks, runs 6 inches, and the skeletons and their crew, they actually run 12 inches, and the beast dies. So, oh, does that suck. So yeah, that's where the skeletons and the Banshee end up. They were really booking it, but oh man, I was upset. It's like, are you kidding me? Now, I mean, it was looking like it was gonna go well, and then it just completely blew up. Oh, gotta give it to my opponent though. I mean, that unit did exactly what it was supposed to do. It took the charge. The attrition battle went on, and in the end, he won. He only had a handful of stuff left, but he won. And well played by my opponent. Very well played. So we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and his zombie guys charge into my knights. His Mortis Engine moves up, and Manfred moves up, and all that other good stuff. The Spirit Hosts move around. Everything surrounding the knights, completely ignoring the Corn Warriors, which I thought was a little silly because it's going to be top of 6 soon. I know he brought his Mortis Engine over with the hope to pulse and kill everything, but if I had just enough left in my Corn Warriors, I was going to charge down off that hill, slam into the Mortis Engine, and blow up everything. It turn 6, it's strength 6, bunch of wounds. Manfred was going to die, and maybe I could get lucky because he had one more turn. Maybe we could just completely board wipe both of us because that would be funny as hell. But yeah, that's what ended up happening there. During his magic phase, Manfred fires off the Winds of Death, and it's irresistible, and he ends up misfiring the winds, and it goes from him, and it bounces through the zombies, and it's random, but yeah, it actually went that direction, and it bounces through his zombies and my knights, which each take some damage. As you can see, the zombies are a lot smaller now, but both my knights die horrible, pathetic deaths because, well, life is fair. What can you do? But yeah, they end up dying, which really sucks. Lady Elizabeth survives, but she always survives. And yeah, not the best way that misfire could have went, but what can you do? Meanwhile, on the misfire chart, he rolls a miscast 9. The misfire 9 or miscast 9 is a little discouraging simply because yeah, I gave him 2 3s. 2 miscast 3s, he gives me a 9. That's just rude. It's just rude. But yeah, he ends up miscasting 9, so he takes a strength 6 hit, which honestly I think I don't even think it wounded. I'm not 100% on that. And he's fine. His magic phase is over, but oh well, it doesn't matter. So we go over here into combat, and Lady Elizabeth loses combat, breaks, and explodes. Just awful. Charge, 3 ranks, and a banner to a banner, and like I think I did 2 wounds or something like that. I flubbed my rolls spectacularly. It was really a bummer. But yeah, the zombies actually win by like 1 or 2, and I roll a 9 and an 11, and it didn't even matter. She explodes because she has a banner and dies, and this game has been an uphill battle the whole time, but what was really messed up is that it gave me a little bit of hope and then it pulled the rug out from under me. So so yeah, Lady Elizabeth is done and that sucks. So we go to top of 6 after movement, and I say screw it. And the Corn Warriors charge into the Mortis engine, knowing damn well that I was going to destroy it, knowing damn well it was going to explode and do strength 6 hits to everything in sight. And that's fine. I figured if I'm going to lose, we're all going to die. There's a better picture of my kamikaze attack on the Mortis engine, and I feel fine with that. Obviously, I have no magic or shooting, so we go into combat, and this thing explodes spectacularly. Manfred dies, a ton of zombies die, a ton of skeletons die, a spirit host dies, and the corpse cart takes a bunch of wound. Every single Corn Warrior I have just dies. It's awesome. Just awesome. And that's it for my turn. So we go to bottom of 6, and he does his crumble checks, and what he ends up having left is his skeletons, his zombies, and his banshee with his skeletons. So, and I lose everything. I'm just dead, dead, dead. But he ends up obviously winning this game. But oh, what a fun battle! What a fun battle! And with that cataclysmic ending too, with just the Mortis engine detonating like a mushroom cloud in the area and blowing up a whole bunch of his stuff. He actually rolled really low for damaging his units, and then he rolled boxcars to damage my warriors. So that was kind of funny, but definitely a good time, definitely a fun game. And you know what? We'll get to the recap in a second because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Hey guys, I know I've already talked to you about this before, but you should really check these pictures out because they were all painted, including my model, by Unleashed Wargaming. And they have their email right up there at the top of the page, and they've also got it down there. They got a YouTube channel. He's working on a website. It's not quite ready yet, but yeah, really, if you get a chance, check these guys out. If you're looking for someone to paint your stuff real good, seriously, check these guys out. Go to his, send him an email, check out his YouTube page. It's really worth your time. It's a phenomenal job. It's quick, it's painless. You don't have to worry about painting your stuff. And soon I'll be running a model that these guys painted for me, and I'm very excited about that. But check out these pictures. Give this guy an email. Check him out on YouTube. Get your models painted by him if you can. It's totally worth it. And tell him Tremendous sent you. So, yep, unless you were completely not paying attention, it was a crushing defeat for Lord Tremendous. I got tabled. But you know what? It was a lot of fun. I ended up losing everything in spectacular fashion, and he ended up losing his Vampire Lord, his Vampire, Manfred, his Necromancer, his Spirit Host, his Corpse Cart, his Mortis Engine, and his Terrorgeist. He was able to keep pretty much all of his core units, which was a shame. What an amazingly fun game, though. I mean, so much combat, so much craziness, the miscast, the Mortis engine exploding in the end, just everything was real spectacular, really fun. I really enjoyed playing this game. Even though I lost, it was still a blast. My Demon Prince nuking himself top of one was just butt. Just raw chafed butt. But you know what? I do have to pay that price every once in a while, and it's better during a friendly game than, game 5 at table 1, right? So many zombies. I hope I did Rick proud. I was able to kill most of the zombies. Yeah, and if you guys don't know who Rick Grimes is, he's the main character in The Walking Dead. If you're missing this reference, then you're shortchanging yourself out of one of the better zombie shows out there. Please get on Netflix and watch it. Do yourself a favor. Combat in this game was a blast. Just so much fun, and it was like having infinite bullets and all the targets you could ever help for. Amazing how well the little zombies did. They took down a bunch of knights and ended up dropping Elizabeth. Granted with combat res, but still zombies. It's like, oh, not like this. Oh, very, very impressed with this army. Very much enjoyed that. Mortis engine pulses hurt. Yeah, that was something I wasn't ready for. Usually they're too far away for me to actually hurt me. I really wish I had killed it earlier. Don't like the Mortis engine. Not a fan. Getting a hold of the Vampire Lord and killing him with Hatemonger was huge. And after we talked about it, my opponent didn't realize that, or I'm sorry, he did know that they could do that. He didn't remember that characters could charge out of units like that. So that was his mistake. He thought they were safer, in that little pit there. And granted, it was a longer charge. I needed a 9 to hit him, and I actually got it. But yeah, it was a mistake by my opponent, but in all fairness, it worked out in the end. He won, but had his character not charged out of the unit like that, I would have just charged into the zombies and tried to get home that way. His better move would have been to put them behind the zombies and hope, that I didn't just decimate the unit by charging into it and overrun into them. So that's my opinion anyway, but hindsight, it's always 2020. And, the Mortis Engine pulse killing Hatemonger. Oh, I knew it was going to explode, but I was hoping that he would roll low for the pulse, and no, he did not roll low at all. So, what can you do? But this was an amazing game, definitely one of my favorite opponents, and I really can't wait to play this army again. Even if he changes up, it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to see it again. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for Battle Report 138. I hope you guys are still enjoying them as much as I do. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.